Well, good morning, my friends. Welcome back to GP Outdoors. I just had this question recently, and I thought my answers might be helpful to a few others. Because so many of you have been kind enough to share the excitement that you and your families have because you've just bought that first property up north, or that first acreage. Many of you to retire on, some have already retired on it, and some have an expectation in the near future retiring. But here's a little lesson I learned from my neighbors down the road years ago when I bought this property, and it saved me a lot of strife. Like me many years ago, you're probably finding that your tool shed is fast filling up with a lot of brand new two-stroke type equipment. That means you now have yet another fuel mix that you have to maintain on your property, and you either have a tractor or at some point soon you're going to buy a tractor, which means now you have a third type of fuel you need to keep on the property. And you've got children. Your mixed fuels, use a 1 gallon can for it, red, always. Any mixed fuel you have on the property always goes in a 1 gallon. Never in a 5 gallon, never in a 3 gallon, always a 1 gallon. Any straight fuels that you're using for any of your toys, any of your equipment, always goes in a 5 gallon. Nothing smaller, nothing bigger. And when you have that tractor, make sure you find a yellow 5 gallon. You may have to go to a few stores like I did up here, but eventually there's a hardware store that's going to have yellow cans. That's for your diesel. Said again, straight fuel 5 gallon, diesel yellow 5 gallon, and any mixed fuels go in a 1 gallon. GP, what's the big deal? Just grab a Sharpie and mark on each can what's in it. Well, I used to. But your marker wears off over time, and I can assure you that if you've got kids, when they want to jump on the ATV and head down the concession road, or they want to hop in the boat, they're not necessarily going to be reading what you wrote on the side of the can. I got a lot of work to do on my property, GP. 1 gallon is not going to be enough for my chainsaws. I thought the same thing 9 years ago. It's going to take you a long time to get through 1 gallon of mixed fuel with your chainsaws or your leaf blowers. Remember, the fuel tanks on those things are very small. And you also want to make sure that you've got fresh fuel as often as possible with your small two-strokes. It matters. And whether your manual says it can take ethanol or not, I assure you, you do not want to buy gas that has 10 or 15% ethanol for your small two-strokes. I can tell you from experience, they're going to run rough. I know it's another 40 or 50 cents to fill a 1 gallon, but get the high octane premium fuel from the gas station that has no ethanol in it. You'll thank me. The other reason why the 1 gallon makes sense, because one of these equals one of those. No more measuring or trying to figure out if you need 1.5 or 1 3/4 small bottles of oil. Every gallon takes one of these. It's a 1-to-1 relationship. Keeps it simple, keeps it easy. Your yellow and red, very important, especially if you have equipment like a tractor that runs diesel. So important to maintain that consistency. Diesel always goes in the yellow, straight gasoline always goes in the red. Once you tell your kids, you tell the family, nobody forgets the colors. So it's highly unlikely you're ever going to find yourself with that siphon hose again. And lastly, up here on the concession road, everybody does it the same way. And there's going to be times we all run out of fuel and we run down the concession road to grab some fuel from a friend. So that odd time when you run out of fuel, whether you run down to Husky Bob's place, neighbor Guy, Ralph, Chuck, Mike, Steve, or John's place, they all do it the same way. When you head over to their place and you get to their gas cache, you know if it's a 1 gallon, it's mixed. You know if it's yellow, it's got diesel in it. And if it's red, you know it's got straight gasoline. I hope this has been helpful for you. Have a great week. Please be kind to each other, and I'll see you again right here. I'm Gord Potter, and you've been watching GP Outdoors. Cheers.